Yeah, yeah, we are on YouTube. So let's start. Good afternoon, YouTube. We are here for another English immersion. My name is Warley, and the topic for today is the effects of social media and modern trends on our lives. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. But before to start with the introductions and with the questions, I would like to explain a little bit about Talk and Talk. So you that are not watching us on YouTube can understand how the platform works and how these immersions works as well. So Talk and Talk is a conversation platform for beginner, intermediate, and advanced speakers. It's not so important or mandatory to know your level on the language. The idea is to develop your confidence and your fluence as an English speaker in this case. And the idea is also to develop this conversation and this practice on the immersion, with a real topic, with real people. So we don't focus also on correction. So that's the main idea to develop the language for us, okay? So besides English, actually, we have other language like Spanish, Italian, French, and German, I believe. And you can see all of that on the Talk and Talk website. Okay. So with that in mind, I think we can go to the introductions and after that with the questions. So Wanda, can you please introduce yourself first?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Wanda from Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, and two sons, one grandson, one daughter-in-law, two cats. Or else I'm a dentist, and is that for now?
Amazing, amazing. How about you, Camila? Can you please introduce yourself first?
Yes, guys. Hello, everyone. My name is Camila. I am 40. Work as accountant in an energy company. This is actually my lunch time, so I decided to improve. What else? I decided to practice a little bit in this free moment. I've been studying here in Talk and Talk since April 24. I discovered Talk and Talk through LinkedIn. In July, I guess, or June 2024, I decided to become a host to develop other things, not only English skills. And I am a coffee addicted. In my free time, I love to read, I love to practice and to know more about language, not only English, but I know a little bit about Spanish, maybe French soon. I don't know, last year. Let's see. I think that's it about me.
Awesome, awesome. So about me, my name is Warley. I'm 25. I live in Recife, Pernambuco. I work on the IT area. Um, I'm also an English host here on Talk and Talk. I have started here on 2022 as a Spanish host, but nowadays I'm focused more on English. I also like to learn about language, not just study language. I think it's a little bit different. Learn is better. So maybe on the next years I will focus on Italian. I don't know, but I like to learn about language in a general way. I like to learn about neuroscience and behavior as well. I like to run, and yeah, I think that's all about me. So let's go to the question number one. If someone watches low quality content for hours every day, how might it affect their mental health? Or I don't know, how is that for you? I don't know if you use a lot social media every day or something like that. So let me know about you, Camila.
I gonna say by myself, I suffer sometimes when I decide to fast my, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours. Just you don't realize that you are doing that, and then I can see myself and feel that I am a little bit anxious in the end of the day. I have some difficulty to be in focus in something different. Like if I decide to read, I felt like, oh my gosh, this is so boring, and I feel like anxious. It's different. Makes like a you are energized about something, and then you cannot avoid it. It's like a addiction, I guess, for sure. And I totally believe this is not healthy for us as human beings. This affected everything about focus, I guess. If you decide to do something and then you get just a little quick check something on your cell phone, this is terrible, I guess. And I think it's becoming in a normal way, accepting this as a normal situation. But for myself, I know this is terrible. because sometimes I feel difficulties to sleep or to just focus in something. It's harmful, I believe.
Yeah, and it's funny, for example, compare the to use social media and read a book. It's like unfair comparison, right? It's pretty complicated. It's so boring to read a book and keep going doing that, and it's so easy to just scrolling videos on Instagram or TikTok or something like that, right? It's unfair. And actually, you said about anxiety as well, and I feel that a lot. I think it's one of the most hard things related to social media because we have the idea about FOMO, for example, that we need to check a lot the social media to see what's going on, but it's also complicated when you are watching the other lives and you think a lot about everything and maybe this comparison between your life and their lives, it's pretty hard. So yeah, I feel that a lot. This point of anxiety when I use social media, it's pretty complicated. It's hard to deal. Yeah. But what about you, Wanda? Let me know.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think it's so easy to get addicted in social media because the algorithms contribute so intensely for us to bring for us the all the things that we love. If you love um, a kind of thing, everything will show you this kind of thing. And when they realize that you are boring, they change the subject and show you another thing. Immediately you continue scrolling and scrolling. And that is the question. Algorithms show for you what you want to see. And you see in a small pieces to avoid boring or immersion in a subject. They show for us many things that in only the surface, and you go there. Is interesting, is colorful, is not boring, and people get addicted. I don't have social media. I avoid. I don't like Instagram and Facebook. Nothing. I don't have nothing about that. But my friends always stay with mobile phone scrolling, and in a theater, in a movie theater, all the people open their mobile phone to see and scrolling and Instagram or any other social media. It's crazy. They are in the movie theater for immersion, not for, oh my gosh, 1 hour is difficult for them to avoid. It's crazy time.
Yeah, and it's also like a social pressure, right? Because you said that you don't have social media, for example, but your friends they have, and it seems like a pressure that they put on you to have like social media or something like that because in some conversations maybe they are talking about some video that they were watching on social media and you don't have to see, or an
Yeah.
example like that. So it's some of like a pressure as well to have this. So it's hard. It's pretty hard to deal with that. And you both said one point that I was thinking here about the concept related to social media and how this algorithm works, because when you are watching a video, for example, and you are scrolling videos, there are a lot of dopamine released in your brain to focus on doing that. And the quick explanation about this is related to you don't know what is the next video. So this point release a lot of dopamine that motivate you to see and to keep scrolling. and see other video. So is that a crazy thing? Because we don't know what is the next video. So is that one concept? That's one concept, important concept about this. And other point is related to the point that Camila said about you don't realize that you are watching a lot of videos, or you don't remember the last videos that you are watching. So it's pretty crazy, and that's a concept related to this is like dissociation, I believe, that explains the point that you don't realize that you are watching a lot of videos during, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, and you don't realize this, and it's pretty hard to remember the last videos that you are watching. So um, the social media and this mechanism is not random, it's pretty did for that. So it's pretty insane that we do a lot of things and we don't realize these points. It's it's hard. There is a lot of people that understand this a lot to create this on these apps.
Mm. Can I add something, Marley? I remember
Yeah.
that Wanda said about the people on theater, movie theater. Maybe the person decide to go there just to say, "Oh, I'm gonna enjoy my day," and I go to watch some movie. And then there, the person cannot avoid to use the cell phone. It's like I am here watching a movie, but I guess we are not able, not enough, not right now to watching, to be out of the cell phone for 2 hours in a row, for example. We cannot control it like more than you. This is not for emergencies anymore. This is like a necessity. So the people is there watching a movie, but I think I think it's FOMO because his mind is inside of what's happening, what's going on in the cell phone instead of pay attention to the movie. And then after the movie, maybe the person don't remember some I don't know, pieces of the movie just because was worried about the cell phone. So I guess this is totally insane. We are, I don't know, upside down. If we would stop to think about this, like we are here in an immersion, and maybe you are checking your cell phone and then you forgot about what you are doing here. Of course, we have some job situation to solve, but sometimes you decide to do something different. For example, go to a restaurant and then you realize that you are scrolling your cell phone inside of the restaurant. So this is crazy, right?
Yeah, and it happens all the time. It's not just on the restaurant, it's not just on the movie theater, it's all the time. We are going on the street, for
Walking,
example, walking,
walk on the
exactly.
street.
Exactly, and you are checking your cell phone, and it doesn't make sense. It's kind of part of your body, so it's pretty insane. But I don't know, it's pretty common nowadays doing that. I don't know if you can change, and maybe sometimes I'm thinking about, for example, the young people and the children nowadays that they are growing up with a cell phone. It's something like different compared to my childhood, for example. So it's a long-term change to think about this, and it's pretty complicated because this connection with cell phone, with internet and technology, it's on the beginning. So it's pretty complicated to deal with that. It's like it turns down like a common thing. So it's hard to change as well. It's a complex point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the focus come over nowadays
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
don't stay in the place that the body stay. The mind
Yeah.
flies all the time because of the social media. The mind is in Instagram, then in Facebook, and then go again to Instagram. The body is not in the same place of the mind. And if you are talking with a friend, you like so much to talk with their friend and this friend, but you don't focus in the chat. You chat, but in a time you take your phone and scrolling and the history that your friend talking come over. It's terrible. I can see when we talk and people comes flying, the mind comes flying, the eyes go there. It's a crazy situation.
Yeah, and it also happens with me when I'm using a cell phone, you know. Sometimes I'm using Instagram, for example, and I see a post and I remember something that I need to do on other app or on my house, I don't know. And I'm going to do that, and I forgot in the next I don't know minutes, I'm forgotten what I were doing on Instagram, you know. And the app is like open on the phone. And it's pretty crazy because, as you said, it's hard not only when you are have an teacher training or something like that, but also when you are studying or when you are reading something, you can focus on that. You know, like in a general way, our generation can focus an hour, for example, or 2 hours on study or focus on a conversation here, or I don't know, reading a book or reading an article or something like that. And it's pretty insane because it's pretty hard to focus about learning if you can focus on one thing. You know, you are doing like a lot of things like a computer in multi-threads or something like that. So yeah, it's like an insane this point, but and
Yeah,
it's also
but
hard to
it
change.
is the reality for
Yeah,
many, many, many people nowadays. Independent of the age of the people,
yeah,
independent of the culture, independent of everything, people act like that nowadays.
yeah. And how do you think will be the next generation, for example, the young people from today in the future on this point? Because I don't think that will change in the future or in the next decade, you know.
Oh my gosh. In the
It's
future,
a hard question. It's a hard question.
I don't know, because I think the history of humanity gets circles, and I think we will be increased this kind of thing, this situation, and then we start a new period of life without social media, without everything like that, and focus and start again. I think all the time in the history of humanity have many, many kinds of circles. Not circles closed, I think more helicoidal. I don't know, helicoidal. I don't know in English this name. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is. And you?
yeah, yeah. Actually, I hope we realize in some time that we can change that, and maybe in baby steps we can change in a long run, you know. I don't know. I believe that people nowadays is more focused on mental health, for example. And I think it's like a relation thing. Maybe focus on that, you can change this point. Actually, when you focus on mental health and you realize the point that's important, I believe that you can change the point of how do you use how you use technology and how you use social media. And maybe we are gonna have this idea, or maybe we are gonna realize that we need actually to change this usage, you know. So I don't know. I hope that will happen, but I believe that's our long run change. You know, it's not easy, it's
I
not
have a
quickly.
experience without mobile phone, because every year I'll go to a boat to scuba diving for 10 days, for 15 days, and the boat is in the middle of nothing and don't have internet. And the first day we have like a eating because we don't have internet. Oh my gosh, I can't sleep because I need my internet. And the end of the time when I arrived in the earth, and the mobile phone can bling 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 bling, so many messages. Oh my gosh, I don't want anymore this kind of situation. It's so interesting this time because we don't like it. Um, truly, we don't like this, but we are addicted.
It's pretty related to the fear of missing out, you know, the FOMO idea, because it's like I'm lost in something that is happening right now on the social media, you know. We have this feeling to just check the cell phone if something is happening, all this stuff. And yeah, it's also like a habit that you construct, that you create in some levels, and it's pretty hard to change that, you know. For example, nowadays, I'm more like comfortable with that because I don't need to check all the time that I'm having on the social media. But it was hard when I have started to try to change that, you know. I create a strategy, like I have created another account for Instagram, and I'm following on this account just people that I'm studying about something about this kind of idea. I don't have my friends, for example, there. So, and I have done a logout. I did a logout on the other account, and I'm just using this account, my personal account or something like that, just one time every week, you know, just one time a week, once a week. So it like helped me a lot on this point, but and at the beginning it was not easy, you know. It's pretty hard to control this feeling about I don't know what's happened with my friends, for example, on the social media. So it's pretty insane when you think about this, but it's important. It's important. And it was a nice strategy for me, and it helped me a lot on this point, you know. It's hard, but it's important. Um, and what about you, Camila? Can you try to answer this hard question about the future on this idea?
Yeah, I was wondering here, listening you guys, like we need to know how to deal with that because it's impossible to come back right now. We are in a process. It's impossible to live without internet, without social media and whatever. So I guess me as adult, I feel some difficulties when I need to create some boundaries about my use of my cell phone. Like I don't like too much Instagram, but I love Twitter or X. I love, and I spend hours there just to check some, I don't know, news. So it's easier to get some information, really quick information on Twitter and YouTube channel. I watch it a lot. Some channels that I like to see some news about. I put some English news to follow, but I think we need to know how to create a better relationship with technology and social media because we are inside of the situation. We are here using a platform to talk, so I guess this is impossible. But I feel afraid about the kids because about me, I know what I am doing wrong. And I am still doing. Yes, I am. But I know. And I guess the kids don't know. For them, it's correct. It's like the normal life. I know that I am doing wrong if I spend hours scrolling my cell phone. As Vanda said about, I feel the same in an airplane. People check the cell phone when you arrive in the specific place, like, oh my gosh, I need to check this. It's like crazy. I don't like this. And sometimes I thinking about go outside without my cell phone, but I remember maybe I need to use my credit card in my cell phone in the wallet. And then okay, I need to get with me. Could be excuse, yes, could be. But sometimes I remember like, oh, if I need Uber to come back to my home, and then okay, let's move on with my cell phone. So I think I am lying for myself, but I know what is wrong, and I am worried about the kids because for them it's like this is normal. They don't know how to communicate properly sometimes. They don't know how to talk looking in the other's eyes because they are always scrolling, and this is the normal life. I don't have kids. I don't want, but I'm afraid to raising a kid in these days because for me it's a big challenge, I guess.
Yeah, I
Good
totally
point.
agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I believe that there are like two phases on two levels on this idea, related to use social media, for example, because on one hand, I believe that you need to know what are you doing wrong, and that's one level of realign something, And in the other hand, the point about okay, I'm doing that wrong, and I need to change. But to change, it's other thing, it's complex, and that's okay. But I'm I know at least that I'm wrong and what I'm doing wrong, And as you said, for a kid, for example, it's pretty hard to know about this because they don't know that's wrong. And the bad points related to that. We as an adults, we know that we realize this point, but for them, it's pretty hard. And I don't know, nowadays a lot of parents, for example, are like giving a cell phone for a kid when they were like just a kid, just a baby or something like that, They are like growing up with a screen, cell phone, a computer, or a television, or something like that. And it's complicated because they are growing up like a common thing to them to use that a lot. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good healthy, a good healthy habit, So yeah, it's hard. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. So, let's go to the question number two. Uh, what type of content do you spend the most time watching on social media? I know that you are not using social media, Vanda, for example, but let me know, for example, about like stream platforms, or I don't know if you use YouTube, for example. Let me know your opinion about this.
I prefer X. I like X. I have just the social media because they don't show for us what kind of personal life. It's about news, it's about all the countries in the world, all the things, and it's generation subjects, not personal subjects, because I I get boring about the life of the other people. Hmm, famous people or not famous people, I don't care. God give me a life to live, and I live my life, and I don't care about another life. It's like that.
You know what's funny? I like a lot to use X, for example. And I like the point that you can be awareness about news in a general way on this platform. So for me, is that's nice. It's different compared to Instagram. I don't know about TikTok. I don't use that, but it's nice the idea about the platform related to that. But when this platform were banned here in Brazil. I have stopped to use that for I don't know 2 weeks, I believe one month. I don't know. I don't remember.
Amount,
And,
amount.
and a month, yeah, yeah, right. I think so. And after that, I have uninstalled the app from my cell phone, and I have started to use that only on my computer. And nowadays, I barely use X. And in this point, I could realize that I don't need this amount of information that I was having, I had on the Twitter, on the X. And it's pretty crazy because it's nice. I like to sometimes I can check on my computer, for example, and I use less compared to use on my cell phone, for sure. But I have realized that uh, about the point that well, I don't need to use that for 1 hour, 2 hours a day, every day. And it's pretty hard when you think about when you use 2 hours a day, social media, for example, and you think about a week, it's like 10 hours or more actually of your week, and it's pretty insane when you think about this. And in this point, I have realized this because I don't need all this information. It's quite of the same that news on the traditional media on the television, because nowadays I don't watch television in a general way, and I don't watch like news on TV. So and all the time that I'm like turn on the TV and I'm watching like news, it's bad news. It's related to bad news, So
Exactly.
and it's
Depression
pretty
news.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like almost the same with Twitter, and it's pretty crazy. I don't need this amount of information. It's okay that I don't have to check all the day, every day, this huge amount of information. And it's insane. I don't know if it's easy to someone to just realize that and stop. With me, it was on the time that I couldn't use, for example, but it's crazy. It's crazy. It's pretty insane, like a automatic habit, that you are doing. So it's hard. It's pretty hard. And what about you, Camila? Let me know about question number two and all this
Guys,
conversation.
you are free. You cannot. Wanda doesn't like Instagram, so you are free, Wanda. You find the happiness in life. And Warley was without to using Twitter. So guys, you are free. Enjoy, because it's like a prison. I am like Wanda. Just joking. Sorry, but I am like Wanda. I don't like to follow the others' life. And I have two things that would like to share with you guys. I have some friends who is single in this moment, and I don't use my Instagram. I don't know. The last photo was more than 5 years that I post. And in this, when you are trying to find a couple or someone to be with you together, the people use Instagram to stalk the other and to check the photos and travel and I don't know, countries that travel abroad, it's like thing, this like. And but I don't use Instagram. And sometimes I was talking with a friend today, and she told me, "Oh, can I use your Instagram account just to tag another person because I don't want to use mine?" But I said, no, this is my personal account. I don't use it, okay, but this is mine. And the other would like to know more about my personal account. So this is like a kind of obligation to have an Instagram if you are interesting to find someone. And I think if you don't use, the others will judge you like, why this person don't have a social media? What is in her life? It's like she's not so interesting. He is trying, he had a family maybe. It's like a crazy idea. It's like
A
always
huge
you're trying.
secret.
Yes, a serial killer. What's happened? Why? Why don't use Instagram? This is like in the for me. I think you are not so interesting just because you don't use it. Like, oh, this person life must to be boring because, for example, about me, she doesn't post photos and like she was 5 years without posting something. So I think she is not an interesting person. So they judge you for your Instagram profile and other things like Warley said about the Twitter was banned here in Brazil, I guess, the 1 month. And then I lose my account in that period. I delete the app and I lose my account. And when I come back, I was like, maybe I need to be without. But I was like 1 week, I guess, and I was living in a happiness life, I guess. And then I decided, oh, okay, I can try, but I will control myself. Camila, please don't use like you were doing. And then I come back worst, I guess. Like, oh, you can maybe try to see what you lose in that month that you was without the Twitter. So I think it's like you cannot control yourself for sure. You are like just going on and try to use. It's like for me, it's like a addiction. You need to control yourself, but you cannot. It's like that. I would like to share, guys.
Yeah, and the point about addiction, actually, the point on your brain compared to addiction is quite of the same of a habit. So habit is like an addiction. So it's pretty insane when you think about this and all the social media and all the algorithms created with that idea, So it's hard. It's pretty hard, and I really feel you when when you said about the point of using Instagram. I believe that the last post that I did on my personal account it was like 3 years ago, I guess, and it's kind of the same. It's like a social pressure to use that. If you don't
Yeah.
use that, maybe you can't like communicate with others, and you can know what's happened with your friends and all the people. So and in a general way people like judge you for don't do that too,
Yeah.
like it's pretty wrong if you are a low profile person, and I don't know, this idea about to share all of your life on your social media, for me it's pretty insane. When I was younger, for example, I was like how can I say preocupado in English, concerned.
Worried.
Word.
Word, yeah, yeah. I was so worried about just I need to post every month something on social media, And nowadays, no, it's totally different. I'm pretty okay that I'm not posting anything on my social media. I'm pretty okay and comfortable with to be like a low profile person. And I don't know, people have nowadays they have like a different perspective about share life and living, and I don't know, like share an idea about your life that is not maybe your life, your real life, It's just a small piece of your life and maybe the perfect or the good part of your life, And yeah, it has a lot of problems related to that point with others, comparison, all this stuff. But yeah, it's a complex topic. It's a complex point. But okay, so yeah, let's go to the question number three. Actually, I think we have like answered this question on the others, like take a break on social media. So let's go to the question number, let me see. Okay, question number four, it's a good one, I believe. If you had stopped using social media a year ago or
Question
any
number
number four,
4.
before. Yeah, because I believe that we have answered the question number three on the others, right?
Okay.
So let's go to the number four. So if you had stopped using social media, any social media a year ago, for example, you can imagine about this. How would your life be different now? What do you think is the most differences between this point, for example? What do you think, Camila?
Oh gosh. About the question number three, I spent 1 year
Mm.
without Instagram. And I think it's
That's a
like
lot.
it was in the pandemic years, and I was like, I don't need this anymore. It's since then I don't use this like before. And about this question, I think if it's depend. I have, for example, LinkedIn that I am really not addicted, but I really active in LinkedIn because I follow some people that I would like, maybe some companies that I would like to know more about opportunities. So it's like a social media, but I'm not so addicted as the others because this is not so funny. But I guess maybe I could say something really fair here, and I am really honest. I could see that I have at the time that I always say that don't get it. Like I will find a moment to practice different things, to go to the gym, to finish a book. I could realize that I have time for real. So this is not this wouldn't be a excuse anymore because I would realize that I can find time to do and don't procrastinate too much because we are not losing time or spending time. It's depend. Doing scrolling, for example. But of course, I use for good things. For example, I spend some minutes using Duolingo, for example. This is not a social media, of course, but you can try to play and try to learn something. But I guess I could find time to do things in my life that I've been procrastinating since a lot.
Actually, I have one question about you said related to when you stopped to use Instagram.
Hmm.
In a general way, how did you manage to go 1 year without using Instagram during the pandemic? Because in this time, I believe that it was like important to have this to communicate with the others. So I believe that it was like so hard.
Yes, I was like, I remember that in that time, I didn't know about Twitter, thanks God. So I was like, oh my gosh, I don't need Instagram anymore because I was like, I don't want to follow the others' life, and the live from the people on Instagram were more than 5 hours, like watching the same show. And I was like, I don't think I need it. And I remember in that time I was really how can I say this in English? In when you are inside of yourself, I was in not I forgot even in Portuguese, introspective person in that time. I was trying to know about myself more. I was reading different books. I was going to a psychologist currently, and this makes me change something about the superficial things that I was addicted in that time, like posting. If I go to restaurant, post that I was there. Look what I am doing. So I changed it. My mind in this time was not easy, but I remember that I changed my attention for different things, and this makes losing the I don't know the feeling that I need to be there in Instagram. But of course, for some friend, I was like, what happened to Camila? She doesn't post nothing. She is not living. It's like that, like she is depressed. This is the feeling from the others. Like you, what happened? She's ugly. Like the people judge you because like, oh, if this profile don't post, this person is like not so beautiful. They judge this kind of situation. This is crazy. And I remember that I was happy in that period. And since now, I guess I avoid to use just because I realized that this is not so necessary to see the other's life. I decide to do that.
Yeah, that's a interesting point. Actually, I was thinking about when you use social media and when you are scrolling videos, for example, it's like an instant or a quickly happiness or something like that. But in a long run, it's the opposite. If you don't use, it's a long run happiness, I believe. And I feel that nowadays when I compare when I was using an Instagram before all the days and with my personal account and this kind of anxiety about this. And nowadays, or comparing when I are using Twitter, for example. So yeah, it's an interesting point and it's complex. The human being and the brain, it's pretty curious, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. And what about you, Vanda? Let me know your opinion about this question.
Feel like if we avoid social media, you can um, can approach to the another kind of situation to waste time. Like in the past, we turn on the TV and see all the programs and the TV shows all the time, soap operas. And I stopped with TV shows and soap opera and news in the TV and in pandemic time. I stopped with the TV because so bad images, so bad photos about COVID, and I stopped it, and I never come back anymore. And in past, more past than TV, we have people sitting in the calçada, I don't know in English, and for gossiping
Yeah.
and people gossiping a lot and for nothing, for wasting time. I think we have many time and you want to waste time. And I think is that if I spend a year without social media, I don't have social media, I opt for study English. For example, I started in pandemic time, and Is that I take a book or I go to gossip with again another person. I don't know, but I'm wasting time. I think it is normally.
And related to this point, let me ask you the question number five, about people. In your opinion, how could life of people could change if they like replacing scrolling or using social media a lot with more meaningful activities, or like what do you think people could do if they are replacing like 10 hours a week or I don't know more using a social media with other activities?
They
What could they
finish
do?
the slavery and they go to many things, uh, see the nature, so beautiful the nature is, and people don't see nothing, and see the stars. They don't see anymore stars, and people spend their time in other situations. I think it's easier for us as a human being to spend time and see the animals. My cat, for example, is spend time a lot sleeping, sleeping and sleeping again and sleep again. I think people break the slavery to sleep, to gossip, to eat a lot, to get fat. And
It's I was thinking here about the amount of time that you can use in other things, I was thinking about maybe you are spending like 10 hours. It's pretty okay to think about this, like spending 10 hours a week on social media. And when you think on this point about a year, it's pretty insane because it's more than 500 hours, you know. And what do you think a person could do with 500 hours? It's a lot of time, learn a language,
a lot
learn
of
two
time.
language. I don't know, a lot of things, right?
Yeah, learn another language and start to learn guitar, for example, or piano, or oh, life is so beautiful and so big. We can do many things. I think is that if I think is social media like slavery, and when you broke your correntes, I forgot, and you get
Chains, I
free.
guess. Chains, right?
And
Chains.
yeah,
Chains, yes.
and
Correct, yeah.
yeah, you break your chance, you get free for everything, for enjoy your life and learning cooking, learning philosophy, learning kinds of wine. Oh, many, many things.
Yeah,
Scuba dive
and
is that I do. Scuba diver
yeah,
is marvelous.
yeah. In a general way, you can take care of yourself. It's not just related to just learn something. It's pretty important as well to do that. And I agree with you. Maybe when you're using like social media or technology all the time, we are like slavers. So it's pretty important to realize this point. Realize the amount of time that we're wasting on using that. It's pretty important to realize that. Yeah. And what about you, Camila? What do you think?
I was wondering here about being present in a situation that you decide to be there, like just do one thing, um, not being a multitask, maybe. Or I remember in the pandemic, you asked me about the pandemic. I was in a book club, and we have some meetings every Saturday, and we decide to read the book together, not just discuss the book, but we decide to read together, like one piece, someone read, and then you go, and we discussed about this. Was really awesome for me because we became big friends since now. And I remember that. enjoy a meditation club too. Was new for me at that time. Was like a totally different. I had some judgments before about this, like, oh my gosh, what is that? But I remember was really glad. Well, I am really glad because I could find this group about books and about meditation because this helped me a lot in this period. And I know for sure that since then I am a different person right now. I could know more about the others. I could try to listen more the others and try to understand more the others, and not only things about me like I am right every time. So you try to see the others more than you are seeing yourself or your life. So I guess this is my two opinions that the people could try to do. Maybe try to know the other more, try to read different things, try to go for a walk. I don't know. Totally different life, I believe.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, as I said before, it's an important thing and is related to take care about yourself, so it's pretty important. And I believe that we have time for one more question. So I would like to end the conversation with the question number 8. I think it's a good one to imagine some. So what would the world be like if social media had never been invented? I believe that it would be easier if we can answer about technology, but I would like to talk about just social media. What do you think the world would be like if social media had never been invented? It's a good, interesting imagination, I believe. So, what do you think, Wanda, in your opinion?
Think we we get more groups, like Camila said, groups for read booking in the library, and they provide for us a group for reading the book of the month. I think another for a course of languages provide some course of theater in determinate language. Uh, and many things. Theater is a really good thing for trying. And I think it's that human beings like human beings, and you need to socialize it. And I think we socialize it in other manner, and I think more rich manner, because they get contact each other, they can hug each other. Oh my gosh, I don't see you. uh, it's really interesting. But nowadays the humanity prefer take see another one by screen. And I think much interesting is the contact, the really contact each other. And I think is that if don't have many platform, we could encounter each other personally.
Yeah, interesting points, interesting point. And what about you, Camila?
I totally agree with Vanda. I guess people need people. We need the others. I know we hate the others, but we need them. It's like a toxic relationship. And we need maybe since we use letters years ago, decades ago, I guess, ages ago, I don't know. And I guess I think we will find a way to be in touch with the others or to be together, and because we need the others. It's impossible to live alone, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. So, unfortunately, we don't have time for more questions, but I would like to send here on the chat the link of the survey. As you said, it's a normal survey. You can say what did you think about the revision and also suggest other topics to talk as well. And yeah, in a general way, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope to see you on the next